And joining us now with more on the Israeli retaliation on the Islamic Republic of Iran is Brigadier General in the Reserves Amir Avivi, founder and CEO of Israel's Defense and Security Forum. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So last week marked the second time that Iran directly attacked Israel, firing over 200 ballistic missiles. Israel is now gearing up to respond. And before we discuss Israel's response, I want to ask, are these the opening salvos of the first Iran-Israel war?
I think we are on the first Iran-Israel war since the 7th of October. Everything we are experiencing is Iran. It's all Iranian militias. It's all Iranian planning, funding, directing. It's all one big Iranian army, whether it's Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah, militias in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen, and Iran itself. We have been in a war with Iran from the very beginning, from the 7th of October.
And let's talk now about the Israeli response. The last time Iran directly attacked Israel back in April, Israel's response was to send a message. Well, it seems Iran did not receive that message. So what will an Israeli response likely entail this time around?
So in April, the main leading strategy of Israel was to focus on Gaza. We decided on the 7th of October that we're going to be on the offensive in Gaza and on the defense on all other fronts. And it was with the intention to release as many hostages as possible, to really dismantle Hamas as a terror army. And this we achieved, at least dismantling Hamas as a terror army, we achieved in the last 11 months. And a few weeks ago, it was clear that it's time to shift the center of gravity from Gaza to the north and the east. And we launched this attack on Hezbollah. So now that we see that we're managing to really also dismantle Hezbollah pretty fast, and we managed to destroy most of their long-range capabilities, this is our moment to focus on Iran. And it's not about a ping-pong game or tennis, them shooting and then us shooting. It's not about that. It's about an historical opportunity to deal with the biggest threat of all, the nuclear plans of Iran. And this is what we need to deal with. We need to seize the moment. We need to seize the moment and really deal with this threat that is an existential threat in the future for the state of Israel.
Mm-hmm. And yet there's a lot of international pressure on Israel not to attack Iran's oil or, as you said, its nuclear sites. But if Israel has the opportunity to set back Iran's nuclear program, shouldn't it take this opportunity now? And how likely is Israel to do so?
Every time we had a moment where we had to deal with a nuclear threat, whether it was Iraq, whether it was Syria, the U.S. always was against. And after we did that, they said, thank you for doing that, and they realized it was the right decision. And even talking about the attack against Nasrallah, at the beginning, before that, they wanted a ceasefire. Once we did that, President Biden said how good it was that we took out Nasrallah. So Israel needs to do what's good for Israel. Israel needs to try and really get the U.S. on board and also Europe. But it's our moment. This is an historical moment. We need to really set back these nuclear plans. And I'm not sure we'll have another opportunity. So we need to really take the moment and do that.
And so your assessment is that Israel will likely target Iran's nuclear facilities, or are there other targets that it may choose to strike?
So Israel can strike leadership. They can strike the nuclear sites. They can also strike the infrastructure of Iran, the oil refineries. But really, the biggest threat is the nuclear site. So I would really focus on dealing with what everyone in the world can understand, why it's done. Dealing with these sites and not necessarily other things, maybe the leadership also. I understand the considerations in the West, in the U.S. about the oil and the prices and before elections. So it's a difficult decision. It's not easy these days to be prime minister or in the cabinet of Israel.
All right, Brigadier General in the Reserves, Amir Avivi, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
My pleasure.